Hello, hello everyone, welcome back. If you haven't been here before, my name is Debbie, and Debbie reads a lot of books. I listen to another audiobook. As you can tell, I'm getting into more audiobooks at the moment. I'm listening to one at the moment, and there's another one there as well. And then I have 3 that are on my reserved list. So yeah, really getting into those audiobooks. So this one is The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary, author of The Flat Share. 1 car, 5 people, a whole lot of history. There you go, that's the front cover. This was read by Eleanor Tomlinson and Josh Dillon, and I was just like, Eleanor Tomlinson, I know that name. Wasn't she in one of my favourite childhood shows? And it was just like, yes, she was. It says she was known for Jack the Giant Slayer, The Illusionist, Alice in Wonderland. She was in the Georgia Groom film. She was in Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging, or Full Frontal Snogging, or whichever version you know. But yeah, so it's just like, oh, I know her. I used to love those films and the books as well. But yeah, I'll get in with that blurb and let's tell you about the journey of this book. Addie and her sister are about to embark on an epic road trip to a friend's wedding in rural Scotland. The playlist is all planned and the snacks are packed. But not long after setting off, a car slams into the back of theirs. The driver is none other than Addie's ex Dylan, who she's avoided since their traumatic breakup 2 years earlier. Dylan and his best mate are heading to the wedding too, and they've totaled their car, so Addie has no choice but to offer them a ride. The car is soon jam-packed full of luggage and secrets, and with 400 miles ahead of them, Dylan and Addie can't avoid confronting the very messy history of their relationship. Will they make it to the wedding on time? And more importantly, is this really the end of the road for Addie and Dylan? This is in comedy, romantic, contemporary. Its duration is 10 hours 23 minutes. As someone who is a fast reader and a fast consumer, I read this on 1.5 speed and listened to it on my walks around work. So yeah, at the beginning you meet Addie and Deb. They're getting ready to go to this wedding of their friend Cherry up in Scotland. It's going to take them like a bajillion hours to get there, and then just as they're setting off, Dylan rams into the back of them. And then you've got Dylan, who was the ex, Marcus, and then also somebody else who also joins them along the way as well. And so it ends up with a very full car. So you've got the present, where you're looking at them in the car, driving up to Scotland and all the adventures that happen there. And then you're also getting flashbacks to when Addie and Dylan met and their relationship and what happened and what went wrong. So yeah, you're getting this full backstory on what happened in their relationship, why they are essentially starting off giving each other the silent treatment at the beginning, and you find out about their very messy breakup. And also the fact that Dylan's best friend Marcus is a bit of a twat. I did kind of cotton on to what was happening with Marcus. So when it comes out what was happening with Marcus during the relationship and now, it was just like, it wasn't a surprise. I'd gotten into my head the idea that it was a very high school mentality from Marcus. So I did get my head around Marcus quite quickly. But it didn't mean that I didn't want to thump him. See, the thing is, I am not a violent person. But when it comes to fictional characters, I'm just there going, yeah, punch him, kick him, kill him. Like my mum, like, if we're watching something and there's a character that's really annoying, which is like, right, that person can be killed off now. It's dark in there. I really enjoyed the storytelling from Eleanor Tomlinson and Josh Dillon. I thought that they worked really well together as the voices of Addie and Dylan. Rodney is the extra tag-along to get up to the wedding, and there comes a point when you realise that maybe they shouldn't have given Rodney a lift to the wedding. It comes out through all the strange adventures that happen on their way up, from almost losing Sister Deb at the side of the road when they're stuck in traffic and she needs to get out to pee, and then they realise, oh my god, just when Deb needs to step out to have a pee, that is when the traffic starts moving again. It's just, that bit really made me laugh when they're like driving along and I'm just there going, why can't you pull into the hard shoulder? And then you're told there isn't a hard shoulder, they have to come off at the next exit, and they find themselves at like a Travelodge type situation. They're just like, well, surely we weren't driving for that long, how long would it take to walk it? and then they Google map it, and they're just like, oh god, Deb would have to walk an hour to get to this travel lodge. So yeah, that bit was really, really funny to listen to, and it was just like, oh my god, how are they going to get Deb back when we don't even know Deb's got a phone on her? It was just so funny to listen to, and also getting that backstory on their relationship and finding out why it seemed to go so wrong. Is there any chance for these two to get back together? And seeing some of the jealousy that happens in regards to Addie's job, because Dylan is a writer, he writes poems, and Addie has always been like one of his biggest supporters, but he still has a lot of self-doubt. So you see him going through the book trying to figure out what he actually wants to do. His dad is an asshole and is doing that whole thing of just like, you are going to university and you're going to study something where you can actually get a job out at the end of it. And Dylan's there going, well, what if I wanted to study like creative writing? And they're going, no, that is not a possibility. It is no guarantee of a job. Which you understand that mentality as you get older, to having a degree which will actually get you a job. I mean, somebody who got a theatre and drama degree, hello. But at the same time, I wouldn't change my degree for anything. So I say, if you want it and you love it, go for it. Do what you need to do at that time in your life, is my mentality. Like, if you go there and realise it's not for you, that's fine. Addie is a primary school teacher. You see her in the classroom, in the flashbacks, seeing her as a primary school teacher, and seeing the friendship that she has with the head teacher of the school, who has a very subtle French accent, is French, and his name is Etienne. That's the one. I was going to say Pascal, that's not right. Etienne is the head teacher, and seeing her friendship with him, especially at a point when Dylan decided to go travelling while Addie stayed and taught at the school. And so yeah, there's a bit of jealousy kind of from everybody, I think. Also seeing how Marcus treats Addie, being Dylan's best friend, but then also making really snide comments about Addie to Dylan and saying things like she's gonna break your heart and she's not the one, and talking Dylan out of like ideas of actually progressing the relationship, like moving in together and things like that. So Addie is very clear that Marcus doesn't like her, but Dylan is kind of a bit oblivious to it. It's like he's got goggles on to the point where he just can't see what's blatantly in front of him in regards to how Marcus treats and talks about Addie. So yeah, it's a lot more to it than you think it is, which it's nice to get that backstory and then keep cutting back to the present when they're in the car and seeing just how bizarre this journey is for all of them. Addie's sister Deb has had a baby and has left the baby at home, so she's never been away from the baby for that long, and so you're seeing Deb's reaction to being away from her baby as well. So you've got all these different backstories, and then you realise you haven't really heard much from Rodney, and that's when you kind of start to clock, hang on a second, what's going on here? And then as it comes out, you realise that something isn't quite right with Rodney. But yeah, can you tell I've just got a smile on my face thinking about this book, because it was funny, it was heartwarming, it was heartbreaking at times, and at the end of the day, even with the arguments that Addie and Dylan have, mainly it came back to money, but ultimately you can tell there's still something there, and so yeah, it does tug on your heartstrings a little bit. And yeah, I really like the idea of this as like a TV series. I think it could work as a mini-series, just seeing them in the car and then having these flashbacks to the relationship and what happened. I really do think it could work well like that. If you like a bit of a rom-com, I definitely recommend The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. And admittedly, I was a fan of The Fletcher. It's been turned into a series, which I believe has now been... it's finished now. I think it's possibly been cancelled or something. But to be fair, knowing the book, I don't know... if they managed to cram the entire book into one series, I don't know how they could evolve that, but I guess it's just something I have to watch and find out. But I really enjoyed listening to the audiobook of The Flatshare, because that was Carrie Hope Fletcher on the audiobook, and I must admit she's got quite a good voice for audiobooks. I will say that, even though I wasn't like the biggest fan of her books. When it came to Carrie Hope Fletcher books, I feel like a lot of them had so much potential, but then it did fall flat a little bit. But I've talked about her books before, so you can go find the videos. But this is about Beth O'Leary and The Road Trip. As I said, the tagline is 1 car, 5 people, a whole lot of history, and that history mainly comes down to the history between Addie and Dylan. I need to drink lots of water because I've got a headache, but yeah, I just really enjoyed it. For somebody who doesn't read rom-coms that often, though admittedly, you know, I don't mind a good rom-com, like something to tug at your heartstrings. Yeah, I thought it was just a nice book. Like, it's nothing too complicated, if that makes sense. It's a nice, easy read. So yeah, The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. That's your front cover. It just, the best way to put it is just, it's a nice book. It's a nice book. It can get a little bit dark when you look into the backstory, and particularly why they broke up. Trigger warning for sexual assault there. There is a moment when a sexual assault almost occurs. I will just put that trigger warning out for people so they're aware of it. But ultimately, other than that moment, it is generally quite a light-hearted read. So yeah, Road Trip, Beth O'Leary. If you like a good rom-com, you will enjoy this. If you like Beth O'Leary books already, I think this is just one that most people would quite like. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Thank you to the new followers. It's very nice to see you, even though you're just here for the shorts. But yeah, so thank you, and I will see you on Sunday with another video. Stay safe, everybody. Love you all. Goodbye.